Tottenham's pursuit of a manager. I apologise for the technical issues we're having here. My internet is still all over the place. But the Athletic UK are today reporting that Erik ten Hag is the favourite to become the next Tottenham Hotspur manager. It's a big update. We know Tottenham are hoping to appoint their manager before the end of the season. Now, whether or not that will actually be done, I think is a very, very different conversation that we may have to have. They say Spurs have finalised their 4-man shortlist for their managerial recruitment. The 4 men on that shortlist are Roberto Martinez, Erik ten Hag, Graham Potter, and Ralph Rangnick. So those are the 4 names on the shortlist for Spurs. And Jack Pitbrook from The Athletic has said ten Hag is the most likely to get the job. Now we see a comment here from the kid. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. Saying, I thought he got a new contract. The contract mentioned that Ajax could choose to activate to keep him at the club for a further year. So it was a pre-agreed contract extension that Erik ten Hag had nothing to do with this time around. Now, we do know he did meet with Spurs a couple of weeks ago, and according to Fabrizio Romano, and I think Alistair Gold said something similar, Spurs are the ones who actually pulled out of the discussions there. After talking to Erik ten Hag, they opted to go a different direction and pursue different managerial candidates. However, we know a lot of our candidates have fallen through, with the likes of Julian Nagelsmann, who we apparently sacked Jose Mourinho at the time he did to get the drop on Bayern Munich next season. So that was one candidate take the job at Leipzig, replacing Nagelsmann. We wanted Graham Potter, who is still on that shortlist, but Brighton said he wasn't going anywhere. We're getting so many different stories, but with Erik ten Hag signing the new contract, apparently that has nothing to do with what he wants to do for his future. And Jack Pitbrook today saying Erik ten Hag is the most likely to get the Spurs job. The Athletic, a very reliable source, one that I often look towards for this managerial pursuit in the last couple of weeks, and also transfer news for Spurs. But they are saying, like I said, that ten Hag is the most likely. Now, personally, I didn't want ten Hag and I didn't want Nagelsmann when Jose Mourinho was first sacked. I didn't want any sort of a rebuild manager because of what it may mean in terms of the futures of Hugo Lloris, Harry Kane, Toby Alderweireld and all that, because they're not going to stick around for another rebuild. They're not going to stay for another 3-4 years without getting trophies with the hope of getting one in 3-4 years, because they are coming towards the end of their careers. And I think Harry Kane is the biggest concern in that one for a player that might move on. But the type of manager that I wanted was in some way similar to the kind of style and the idea of appointing Mourinho, in that he's one that will bring us short-term success, an Antonio Conte type man whose future at Inter Milan still isn't certain. And, 1 second. Sorry about that. But yeah, a manager like a Conte or something like that, who'll come in and he'll want short-term success. He's not going to have to come in and rip the core out of the squad, but can come in and get maybe 3 or 4 players and then work the squad to what he wants to become then. But I really don't think that's going to happen now. In terms of, if you're looking at the managers we've been looking at, there aren't many that seem as though they will be attracted to Spurs. There's other clubs that may be looking for a manager, like I said, with Inter Milan maybe parting ways with Antonio Conte. They could want a manager. AC Milan started so well, but now potentially missing out on Champions League football following their poor result at the weekend. There could be other teams looking for a manager like that, and Spurs ultimately just aren't going to be anywhere up the pecking order of players, of managers that are looking for a team like that. So in a way, I've kind of become resigned to the fact that we may need a rebuild manager, and we may have to look a bit below the pinnacle of managers in world football right now. And of those rebuild managers, of the manager who fits that sort of profile, Erik ten Hag is probably the perfect one. Of course, brought Ajax to the semi-final of the Champions League before he was knocked out by that Lucas Moura wonder hat-trick in Amsterdam. He built an incredible squad there, and I've spoken about Christophe Galtier in a similar way in the type of squad that he built, one that is a fantastic mixture of young players and experience. Like, you look at that team that ten Hag brought to the semi-final of the Champions League, the youth in there, the likes of Matthias de Ligt, who of course now at Juventus, you Frankie de Jong, who since moved on to Barcelona, you Donny van de Beek, David Neres. Even Hakim Ziyech wasn't young in age, but kind of early on in his professional career, and he had that brilliant link with the experienced players in the Daily Blinds, Dusan Tadic, Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, and it was such a perfect mix of a team that he built there. And look, aside from those incredible players that have come through Ajax, Tagliafico, Andre Onana, Mazraoui as well. They really have a brilliant system there. And Erik ten Hag was really, really cultured in terms of how he brought those through the setup into the first team. And I think Spurs have made the mistake recently in the way we're bringing those players right through to the first team, and the likes of, look at Marcus Edwards. Pochettino was ranting and raving about him in the press, saying he was the next lead on Messi. He's this, he's that. Now he's with Vitória de Guimarães in Portugal, and it isn't going anywhere with his career. Similar with Troy Parrott, we kind of bigged him up too quickly, but Ten Hag is so good in the way he nurtures the players and brings them into that first team. And look, obviously Ajax have a better youth setup than Spurs. I don't think anyone is gonna say that isn't true, but we still have the ability to bring through these players every now and then. We're not going to be have the kind of cyclical development system that Ajax have, and that every 3-4 years they have this incredible team that comes through, they win the Eredivisie, they have a good run in the Champions League, sell them all on, and they're back to square one. We're not going to be that. And look, to some extent, I don't think we want to be that. But in terms of getting those players through, we're not going to have them coming through that often. But you can't deny we are bringing fantastic players through our youth system. Even if you look at who's there now, with Alfie Devine, Dane Scarlett, the players that are out on loan, you've Oliver Skip at Norwich, Harvey White at Portsmouth, there's Kazea Sterling, I think, is at Southend. Oliver Skip, of course, at Norwich. They're incredible players that we do have coming through. And Ten Hag, I think, is a manager that could really nurture them. And on the flip side, you could argue there is the potential for short-term success with this manager in place as well, because of what he's managed to do with Ajax. He really overachieved with that team. Despite the quality that was in there, he did overachieve bringing that team through to the semi-final of the Champions League, knocking out Real Madrid and Juventus on their way through there. So this manager could be one that kind of balances both aspects of what Spurs fans may be looking for, and it could be a really exciting appointment for Spurs. Now, of course, nothing is confirmed. We can't get too ahead of ourselves right now. This is only one report from one source, but just to reiterate the news, Tottenham have finalised their 4-man shortlist for the managerial position that is currently vacant. The 4 managers honoured are Roberto Martinez, Graham Potter, Ralph Rangnick and Erik ten Hag. And according to Jack Pitbrook of The Athletic, Erik ten Hag is the most likely man to take the job at Spurs. Let me know what you think about that in the live chat. If you're watching on the replay, let me know in the comments below. Do make sure to subscribe to this channel as well if you are new for more updates like this. We're bringing you right through to whatever appointment Spurs make as the season draws to a disappointing close. For more content on this channel includes the Tottenham Fan Voice podcast, Tottenham Watch-alongs, and the Tottenham Hotspur Transfer Talk series, which will be in full flow this summer as we go throughout the Euros and into a new season with a new manager at Spurs. It's bound to be a very, very interesting one. And to keep up to date on all the stories from all of the reliable sources, you can get that right here by just smashing that subscribe button down below, and make sure to click the notification bell as well, so you are notified whenever I upload or have sudden live streams like this one as news does come out. So to everyone who's tuned in, a couple hundred of you over the last 10 minutes, as always, thanks for watching.